Okay, listen to this.
An electrical wire, or the path of a hose in an assembly. When a feature requires a precise shape, I don't recommend that you use the spline to create it. As I said earlier in the course, you'll save time and money using standard geometric shapes like lines and arcs. That said, I'll give you a tour of all the settings for splines, and in the next lesson I'll show you how to control the shape of splines.
Okay, of course this, like any spline, has a series of handles where you can change the length of it and so forth. Oops. But you can change the length of it and so forth. So this right here, just changes the angle without changing the length. And you can see how it affected other handles as well. But you can either reset this handle or reset all handles, which sets them back to the point before you started dicking with it, or after it was created, I suppose. So, but I could take this sucker and draw it over there, and you see how it's affecting all these. But I could just reset this. Well, anyway, I guess that guy was a dipstick. Because this handle does reset all handles. Anyway, whatever. Okay, and apparently, though, when you're editing, it's possible to go in and click proportional. If you do, then you can actually grab the points to change the shape of the spline. So, but if you uncheck that, then you can edit the spline again. But you can still move the spline just by grabbing the spline itself as opposed to a point. I don't know why anybody would want to move it by the point. So anyway, you can also grab a handle, but it really won't let you make a spline cross over itself. So but you can draw a second spline if for some reason you wanted to make it cross over. And do it that way. If you highlight both splines right next to the areas, you can actually put either a tangent relation or an equals relation. And so interesting. Oh, I really went nuts with that. Huh. Anyway, I guess I didn't draw the spline with enough curves or enough control points. So, make that equal, that kind of gives you that result there, equal curvature. Anyway, black grips mean that the spline is constrained, at least partially, due to the relation we put on it, but you can add further relations to it though. Okay, so now when you draw a spline 2, if you double click it, you in spline mode, but you're still, you end the spline, but you're still in spline mode.
Splines.
And of course, as you'd expect,
click the spline command, and then click 3 points in the graphics area.
Okay. Now, drawing two horizontal lines here, or two lines here. And if you right click on it, you can actually select its midpoint. Oops. You can actually select its midpoint, and you can do that and put a coincident relationship, and that aligns them. So that's how to do some forms of alignment anyway. Okay, I drew a bunch of I turned these to construction lines, and put some dimensional constraints on them for some reason. But it's to control the shape of the spline we're going to draw, apparently. Okay, so since we put all these definitions on this frame, if I draw a closed loop spline around it, it's not only nice and symmetrical, but it's also fully defined. This way, we can, like change dimensions of it, and then we got control. As you can see, it's fully defined. Okay, now I've modified another dimension, so if you click on this show curvature thing, it gives you some idea of what the curvature is at various points, and you can increase the density of it, if you want, and the scale. Now you'll notice that that this is symmetrical because the pattern there is symmetrical, but if we go select the spline, you can see what that does to the curvature, sort of, except that it's yellow, so it's hard to see. Anyway, if you select it, it helps. I don't know how you select it though. I don't know how I did it before. Well, anyway, double clicking on it selects it. So, but anyway, you can see how off symmetry it is. Sort of turned orange before. I don't know about this thing. Yeah, see, now I can see it in orange. It's hard to select though. Anyway, we tried to adjust it, we really couldn't do it. Oh, this sucks. And apparently some of the problems I'm having is that I stopped out of my sketch. So now the thing's a little easier to deal with, but you can add like a horizontal relation there and see if that helps, but no, it's still out of whack, but it's out of whack down here too, so you can click that and add horizontal relationship to it too. Okay, but it's still out of whack because I did change the length of the handle, and so maybe I can select the arrows. Maybe I can't. I don't know if I can select the handles or not, and make them equal. I guess I can't do that. So anyway, to turn this thing off, you just click on the spline and do that. You can delete a relationship that way. By clicking where you added it. Here it is. Delete it. Yes, I think that was it. I don't know if that's really it or not. You can also select the spline. That's interesting. Anyway, you can select the spline. Select the spline and hit display control polygon, and so that gives you some idea of what you're doing there. But you still can't add relations or anything. Alright, you can also, add a curvature control or insert a spline point, simplify the spline, or add tangency control. So we can insert a spline point just like that, and oh shit. Tangency control. Point like that. Which apparently controls the tangency somehow. And apparently when a handle's gray, that means nothing's been done to it, and but it does have a point on this envelope that we got here, whereas over here in the tangency one, notice that it goes right through that point in the control box. So but like I said, made some change to it, but again, handles hadn't been changed, but now that it's changed, they're not gray anymore. Which is interesting, because now this control box goes right through the thing. Now instead of having that one dot, now we actually have ostensibly two. Although I think we had one there to begin with. Okay, so let's make some more like changes to it or whatever. And but if you want to get rid of that box, you know, that control polygon, you got to make sure your thing is selected, but you just hit that, and that makes the box, the control box, go away. Now let's delete one of these points. Okay, I deleted that other point. Now let's select the spline, and say reset all handles. And then we can do the show curvature, and looks pretty good actually, you know, after resetting all the handles and all those maneuvers we did. And but apparently, even though we've reset it, you know, the only way to actually get the blue handles to go back to their original state is to redraw the spline. So, which, since we have the control frame here, is not too difficult to do. Let's see. Now the handles are, you know, really gray more than black, but it is fully defined again. Okay, but if we go and make sure the thing's... What the fuck am I... Anyway, if we split the control polygon, you know, you can see that everything's fully constrained, and you cannot adjust it, you know, when it's fully defined. So you know, the handles, you know, we could ostensibly edit, but right now they're see, which we did, but you know, as long as they're not edited and you don't touch it, you know, you can't manipulate it with the control box. You know, that kind of tells you it's fully defined. Turn that off. And there we go. Spline frame is what I'm going to call it. Okay. Drawing a sketch. Now we're going to go into a 3D sketch and draw a spline. Starting from the origin. Hit tab. Wow, that doesn't work. What do you know? Hopefully the problem is that I forgot to well, I don't know if it is or not, actually. No, it isn't. I mean, it's defined. No, tab doesn't work. I mean, I cannot switch planes. It doesn't matter. This goddamn thing just doesn't work. I mean, what's the point of 3D sketch if you can't fucking change the goddamn plane you're in? Okay, for some reason now I was able to change it. Okay, now we're going to try sweeping this profile along this path, and there's supposedly problems with that. And you can see how it kind of looks like a flattened out snake, you know. Okay, as you can see, you know, that's the reason this thing's so cattywampus, is because this is at an angle to the line. So the solution is to start it with a straight segment, and it doesn't have to be very long, and then make sure this thing's tangent to it. So edit the sketch, and I'm going to see if I can remove that. I'm going to see if I can edit it as opposed to just redrawing the whole thing like he did. Okay, so I'll just keep it 1/4 of an inch. And go ahead and define it, I guess. Said, you know, his was 1 inch, but, you know. Okay, so those two should be together. Now we'll have to put a tangent relationship on it. So it doesn't do anything squirrely. And then I should be able to just complete the sketch and do a sweep. And that does look a lot better. So, and honestly, most programs would have a problem with that, you know, if you didn't have that circle normal to it. So, you know, because, you know, normally your circle has to be normal to the plane of the point of the line, you know. I mean, you know, the path has to be perpendicular to the, or the, you know, to the plane, or the normal of the profile. But, you know, that looks good. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of that first whole set of lessons, so, from his course.